morning, folks. Welcome back to the farm. It's the beauty of a day here today. The wind's kind of shifting out of the north. I'm not sure what that's all about. Maybe the nice weather's going to come to an end. Anyways, we're out here behind the big chicken house in the chicken village with the hens. So they have this whole space here that they can free range through. We did put up a fence last year right here, 5 feet high, to stop them from going over to the house. So previously they had the run of the whole farm. But they lost that privilege because they kept digging in the wife's flower beds and pooping on the front deck. And we put up with that for about 3 years, 4 years, something like that. And the missus said enough's enough. So we put this fence up here, but they can still free range, you know, as far as the eye can see that way. So that's good. But today we're putting together, it's fairly rudimentary, fairly primitive. What is this? This is a chicken vending machine. So as you know, we get lots of grocery store surplus through the Loop program, and we got to find unique ways to feed that to the chickens. Throughout the cold winter months, we've been feeding a lot of it directly in the chicken house, but as things start to warm up, that starts to become a less practical solution. So I've got these pallets out back, and the purpose of these is compost bins, actually, is what they are. But what I did is just right here, I just knocked out a slot so the chicken can actually go through, and I can put the loaves of bread and the tortilla chips and the broccolis and all that kind of stuff directly in there, and they can go in there, get their food. And because it's kind of encased, the fellas upstairs, the crows, the magpies and all that stuff, they don't see it from 100 feet in the air and are less likely to come in and start raiding the pantry. That's the theory anyways. We may inadvertently feed them a little bit, but that's okay. Anyway, speaking of broccoli, this week we got quite a few cauliflower in the loop load. And I was thinking, man, wouldn't it be great if the sheep could eat that? I could feed some to the rams. But cauliflower is a brassica. So cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, all that kind of stuff. You ever know if you ever eat it, like how much you fart afterwards? Yeah, so brassicas are really known for bloat and gassiness. Bloat and gassiness in the sheep is kind of a death sentence. So we're going to keep that for the chickens and won't give any to the sheep. Last week here we got a whole pile of individual pizzas, garlic bread, and about 40 bags of chips. I'm just going to dump it right in the back there. Chickens can just come in that little door, come have snack time. Cheesies, you gotta love them cheesies. Now, one of the products that we get in our loop load, and sometimes we get quite a bit of it, is yogurt. Yeah, that's about 2 gallons of yogurt. And you can imagine those little half a cup size yogurt pots, how many lids that was, how many packages, how much plastic waste is associated with that. But then what do you do with it? So, I mean, chickens will eat a certain amount of it, but they're not going to eat 2 gallons of it. That's not going to happen. So the go-to immediately is the pigs. But our pigs are living in our freezer right now, so we don't have anything to consume this. So I'm actually going to mix this in with a little bit of grain for the ewes. Now, yogurt is good for the sheep. It's good probiotics. It's good for rumen health, good for everything. In fact, actually, if you've got one with an upset rumen, you maybe heard me say that you can give them a beer. After they've had a beer, pot of yogurt works wonders. But so everything in moderation, right? With 2 gallons of yogurt, you wouldn't give that to 1 sheep, but to 20 sheep, that's maybe more of a viable option, mixed in with a little bit of grain so that it doesn't get too hot in their bellies. Now, maybe you don't have pigs, maybe you don't have sheep, maybe you don't have chickens, and you're thinking, well, if we got extra yogurt, can we just compost it? And actually the answer to that, I mean, you would think, right? Lots of microbial activity. You think maybe that would be a good catalyst for compost. But in fact, it's not, because it's so wet and because it's got such a high fat content. It's actually really bad for compost. You know, in the big picture, is like not beneficial at all. But if you mix it in with a little bit of water and you sprinkle it around in your lawn, you sprinkle it around your flower beds, that microbial activity can definitely benefit soil health in the same way that compost does. But yogurt in compost specifically isn't really a good recipe.